So here it is. After 24 episodes, most awesome and wonderful time reviewing this for you guys each and every episode. The final episode is here of season 1, and yet and still, it was such a great episode. You know, you could say not a lot happened from start to finish, but so much was actually filled in, kind of going through the final touches to answer everything for the final season. Man, they wrapped it up so well that I can't help but just be like, man, this was a great anime and a great one to end the year, because it started at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. It was such a great time. I have enjoyed this anime way more than I thought I would. I started this anime off thinking Apothecary Diaries was just going to be kind of like an old style mystery, you know, and it's like, okay, we get a little mystery involved, which there was, but it was just so much deeper, so much richer than I originally thought it was going to be. And the fact that it's just so visually done so well, on top of written so well, that this anime just had everything going for it, that I can't really stress enough how good everything and almost every episode was for this season and this anime, which having such a great main character in Maomao that I fully believed that she was going to be this meek character, but then she became so much more visually, stunningly. The fact that she actually is very beautiful, yet hid that, showed the layers and the onion that is essentially Maomao, and so much that was inside that she was hiding deep down, from what we've learned about her mother, Lakan, and then all the other characters around her, Laomin and Genshi, everybody. This episode proved that she personally feels that Laomin is her father. Like, she respects Lakan and understands him and understands what he went through, as well as understands what her mother did in the past. But it doesn't matter. Regardless of what they've done, Maomao sees Laomin as her father. He raised her, which is understandable. This old man took everything in and taught and raised Maomao to be who she is now. Let's first go into this episode, and this episode, of course, was just so good, especially for a season finale. We had the resolution with Lakan. He did end up buying the exact person Maomao wanted him to purchase. Now, even Maomao said if he doesn't purchase her, that it was like, well, it'll be fine. But thankfully he did, thanks to Maomao, which was pretty funny. It's like as he's looking at all the girls, and he's like, well, I guess I could purchase Maomao. She's been nice to me. And then even Maomao is like, if you so choose to do this, that is fine, but you might want to take a look over here. And how Maomao just went and opened all these the forbidden doors, and then just the astonishment on Lakan's face as he's like, what is she doing? And then he realized, wait a minute, and dude just mad sprinted and found the woman of his dreams, the one he loves, the one he cares about. And then to show, like, this scene right here, having the moonlight hit her face to where she looked exactly like she did in the past, like as if nothing happened. And Lakan just could do nothing but just cry. And honestly, it seemed like she got all her senses back once she saw it was Lakan and they were playing Go. I don't know if she actually did get her senses back. I mean, we don't really know for sure. All we can know is what was seen. But the fact that she just, like, all of her blemishes, everything that was affecting her were just washed away. And it's as if he has finally come home after all these years. And the fact he's like, yeah, I'm going to purchase her. And of course, understanding the true intentions of Maomao's gift, if you will, about the withered rose. And it's still, whether or not the rose is withered, it's still beautiful. And he's just like, it dawned on him. And he's like, I understand now. So kind of a happy end to these two. Because the fact is, when someone gets bought out like this, it's almost like the whole town celebrates, which was pretty cool. Which leads to why Maomao was dancing in the moonlight. Now, in this one statement, I feel there's so much to unwrap and unravel here. Maomao gets frustrated that the fact that, as she has seen, Lakan is actually a very smart individual. She knows that he is, but she knows that his biggest flaw is that he's so lazy. That he just basically, even though he understands and knows what's going on, he doesn't just go about and take care of it himself because he's lazy. And thus she's mad at the fact that maybe if he wasn't so lazy, he would have been able to understand the issues and what was going on Jinshi's attempt on his life. But that's not what happened. Then she goes off the fact that he's so talented that my dad would praise him. Yet again, she feels Laoman is her father, which kind of is because he raised her. Even though Lakan is her biological father, she doesn't truly call him dad. She's saying that because Laoman, who we have seen in the beginning of the season, how Laoman is like super smart and just taught everything to Maomao to make her intelligent, for such a high esteemed man in Laoman to give praise to Lakan. She's like, how can he praise him so well? Just goes to show that if Laoman looks up to Lakan and his intelligence, and we know how smart Laoman is, she's like, dang, if he just wasn't so lazy, a lot of these issues that are going to roll over into season 2 would pretty much be resolved. That isn't what happened. And of course, she's like, dang it, if he wasn't lazy, I would have the information on the resurrection medicine. Which, like I said, this is essentially laying out the groundwork to show us that this is still an issue and something that's going to trickle in to season 2. Now, I cannot literally go through this review without talking about this moment here. The best moment of probably the season, let alone this one episode. Maomao is having this moment where Jinshi is carrying her, and you are sitting here like, what's gonna happen? Of course, they made this moment to make you believe that Maomao's gonna like confess her love or something, which I felt like this is way too early for her to do something like that, because honestly, she has never really felt that Jinshi was a love interest. She respects Jinshi, she works for him. She will even admit that he is such as a figure, as a man, that he is actually a very beautiful man, but she has never really felt like a love relationship. So when this moment was happening and she was getting closer and closer to his face, and Jinshi's just kind of looking at her like, what's happening now? Because we can kind of see that Jinshi is starting to get across that line where he's starting to maybe have some really feelings for Maomao. You know, is Maomao crossing that line from being property or a toy, as people have said before, for him to kind of play with, to actually having feelings and being something stronger? Well, of course, they kind of use this moment to tug at us like, oh my Lord, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then, of course, Maomao being Maomao gives the moments like, hey, about that ox piece that you owe me. There would be no Maomao if it didn't go this way. The fact that they did such a great job in writing and such a great job in really showing us the character of Maomao. This is literally Maomao all season long, that here it is, she's getting close to him, getting close, and it's like, Jinshi, about the ox piece. Just headbutts her because he's like, you know, playing with my emotions, not reading the room. Like, what is wrong with you? Such a good interaction between the two. And I could see at some point this crossing into some type of relationship, but like I said, this felt like it was way too early to do this. It was such a nice moment of them two together and this happening to make it into a comedic moment. I love it to death. Now, as far as a score for this anime, I can't be remiss if I did not give this a high score. My score in this is definitely going to be a 9 out of 10. This was such a great anime, such a good show, and I just can't stress how good it was. That for it to be like a feudal era anime, yet sprinkle in some, not necessarily modern stuff, but some interactions where it could be said that was modern, because you gotta remember, this is a work of fiction. This is not true to form in history. It uses some of the correct stuff in the past, i.e. location, i.e. the way the culture and such works, but you know, they sprinkle in their own stuff into it, which makes it so much better. And there's still so much that we don't know of. We don't know the true identity of Jinshi and who he really is. I still feel he has some connection to the Emperor, of at least to have a high status in that regard. But as far as in what actual direction, there's still a lot about Maomao to figure out. We resolved the whole thing about her parents, but there's still things that could go on. Still have the fact that she wants to find this resurrection medicine. There's still enemies that we have to deal with, and I still believe it is the new consort that's behind everything that happened, which, like I said, we'll have to find out more in season 2. But this anime right here, for anyone that has gotten this far and has seen all these episodes, and now that you've seen the ending of season 1, I would encourage you guys to go back, start from episode 1 and rewatch this anime, because there is so much hinted at, necessarily directly talked about, that it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. And for those that did not hear, there is a season 2 coming. It did show a little bit of it at the end of the episode, but it's been confirmed that the next season will be coming next year, 2025. So we gotta wait a whole year, but season 2 is in production, and we'll get more Jinshi and Maomao next year. Cause oh man, I cannot wait for it, cause your boy is gonna be here, Lord willing, and we'll be back to discuss more of the interactions between these two, as well as more mysteries that may come about. I gotta wait a whole year to find out if I'm correct about who I believe is the main culprit of everything. I said this in my reaction. I do hope next season ends up being another 24 episodes. It's like, all right, hey, can I get some more? Can I get another 24 episodes? But you know what? Maybe we got spoiled a little bit. But I will definitely, Lord willing, be here to discuss more about Jinshi and Maomao and what happens in season 2. Until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed this analysis. I hope you guys have had fun. Definitely catch the reactions to these episodes on my Patreon, because I have this anime and several others on there. It's been fun. It's been great. And I definitely hope you guys will be back for more. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like the video, because we will definitely discuss more coming out in the next few weeks. So we'll see the next best thing to discuss and talk about. Until then, you guys take care. Have a good one. And as always, I will see you next time, and see you later. And so long, Space Cowboy. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page. And thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.